Oh, preaching. I'm trying to get to my text. I'm trying to get to my text. Now, hear this. Bishop, that dimension, I began praying now. My prayer has changed. My prayer is, Lord, what you did to the servant of Elisha is what I want to see. Because when the enemy came, he opened the window, looked outside, and saw the army all over the hill. Came back with a natural message and said, alas, master, we are done. Elisha did not get worried. He just said, help this boy. Open his eyes so he can see. And when the eyes were opened, on top of every enemy's soldier, he saw 3 angels. And he came back and said, those that be with us are more than those that be with them. Trying to get me there. Keep praying for me. Trying to get back to the word. And I feel like saying this. Now hear me very closely. What is natural, or what is normal, or what is ordinary in that dimension is supernatural in this dimension. I'll explain it. Angels don't marvel when a cripple walks. Angels don't say, whoo. And when the dead comes up, angels don't say, shh. Because in their world, that is ordinary. But in our world, it is super natural, because we're living here. But the reality is this: when you get induced with what I'm about to give you in the next 5 minutes, if you get your shift tonight, if you decide to come out of the ordinary, you will be able to look at what is natural and say, I don't need this anymore. I want something supernatural, because it is unnatural. I'll say that again. It is unnatural for a born again believer not to have the appetite for the impossible, because within your DNA is engraved the appetite for the impossible. That's why you took your resume and put on a job that you knew you don't qualify for, but you still put your resume there, because within your DNA is engraved the audacity, the appetite for the supernatural. And that's why I'm gonna tell you, after tonight, no ordinary life. After tonight, no ordinary money, no ordinary prayer life, no ordinary cars. After tonight, somebody say yeah. Touch 3 people, tell them I'm moving. Say I'm moving. I feel like preaching. Say I'm moving. Say I am moving. Talk to your neighbor and say neighbor. Say neighbor, next year by this time, when you come to my house, please call me before you come, because I am moving to a bigger house. Somebody shout yeah. Shout yeah. Look to your neighbor and say neighbor, week, when you come to church, as you park your Lexus, don't knock my S-Class Mercedes, because I have a feeling that something supernatural is about to happen in my life. Shout yeah. Look to your neighbor, say closely. Come on, talk to your neighbor. Say, neighbor, watch me closely. Be careful how you treat me, because next month I may be your boss, because something is about to happen in my life. Shout yeah! Shout yes! Say, neighbor, you've been crying for too long. You've been borrowing for too long. You've been depressed for too long. But tonight, you are shifting to the next dimension. Shout yes! Shout yes! Shout yes! Wave your hand. Say death! Death! Bye-bye! Cancer! Bye-bye! High blood pressure! Bye-bye! Oh, give the Lord some praise. I didn't even get to my word. I was trying to get there. Now look at me. Let me close like this. Look at me closely. There is always a next level with God. There's always, look at me very closely, something has to hit you. There's always a next level with God. Lazarus, come forth. And he that was dead, came forth. For the family, that's good enough. For the sisters, that's good enough. Because he that was dead has now come forth. But for Jesus, it's not good enough, because his hands and his legs are bound. He is not productive. He cannot produce. So Jesus says, next level, loose him and let him go. The blind man by Bethsaida, the eyes are open and he looks. He said, yes, I can see, but I'm seeing men like trees. And Jesus says that's dangerous, because if I give you a power so you're gonna kill so many, because all men look like trees. And he touched him again and his eyes opened. Saul on his way to Damascus is hit by the power of God, and during the experience his eyes were closed, but the Bible tells me when he got up he opened his eyes, but he could not see. That means the eyes were open, but there was no sight. And God sent him to a man of God who laid hands on him, and then his eyes saw. There's always a next level. There's always a second level. And I could go on and on and on, but I've got to stop here and come to my text. They are washing their nets. They have got every philosophical explanation. They have got every academical, rational explanation. There was no fish, no marriage, no promotion. The economy is bad. Things are going down. We are losing jobs. And Jesus shows up and says, I've got to talk. I've got to say something. Can I borrow your boat? Can I borrow your boat? Because I need to send a rhema word. Can I borrow your boat? And Simon Peter, but he says, excuse me, before I borrow your boat, you've got to push it. The moment he entered, it was on. The moment he entered on the boat, it was, somebody shout, on. And It says on is limited, on is unprofitable, on is disappointing, for the flesh profiteth nothing. Push the boat into the sea. Because the sea is symbolic of the spirit. That's why people don't walk on the sea unless the government is on their shoulder.
Preach it, preach it.
He said, if you can get it out of the flesh, if you can move it from limitation, then I can give you the Rhema word. Then the boat is on the water, and he begins to give the Rhema word. When he is done, he says, now it's time for the miraculous. It's time for the supernatural. Can you move a little deeper? Can you move from Sunday church going? Can you move from one scripture a night? Can you move from 10 minutes prayer into the depth of God? Because if you can move, you can see the glory of God. Somebody shout, yeah. Touch your neighbor, say neighbor. Elias, say Elias has come all the way to tell you, move to the deep. That's my word tonight.